bustin' makes me feel okay. It's Harmless Phosphorescence. Hello, everyone. This is your host, Thoreau Smiley, and I found this podcast while I was looking for some Pop-Tarts. Who's joining me this week?
I'm Josh Cece, and I also have a ghost girlfriend, but you don't know her. She lives in Canada.
I'm Brian Lesh, and I will be reusing about 75% of the bits I used for the last movie.
Why the cold shoulder? I'm Alaric Weber.
And this is Harmless Phosphorescence. The deep.
I'll be reusing all my material from Batman and Robin.
I'll probably be using everything I said in our Galaxy Quest episode.
This is Harmless Phosphorescence. It's the deep dive movie podcast where we pick a theme or series. We watch the movie, we gather some research into the production and the source material, and we tell you all about it. This show is brought to you by our patrons, our lovely, lovely patrons over at patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. Patrons like executive producers Michael Beckwith and Atticus Burkett. You want to be a patron too? It's easy. Go to patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. There's a ton of bonus shows up there. Plus, you get the regular feed a little bit early, assuming I get it done in time.
You can look for our Galaxy Quest episode. You can look for it.
It's a fun game to play.
Josh and I'll keep talking about it while you look.
Yeah.
We'll wait.
I'm still looking myself, in fact.
You know, if we ever stop the show, our final episode needs to be Galaxy Quest.
Why would we do it again?
Sorry, if the rest of our lives.
I mean, honestly, I don't have anything else to do on Sundays. Patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. There's lots of bonus content there. So go there and look. We're going to be doing The Fifth Element. That'll be going up there soon. We did Total Recall recently. So patreon.com/harmlessentertainment. It's quick, it's easy, and it only costs you $1. That's less than, well, most anything now. Have you seen the economy?
I mean, yeah, it's not much considering inflation.
Yeah.
That's
$2. Yeah, when I set it at $1, $1 was worth a lot more than it is now.
Yeah, $1 doesn't spin the same way 5 years later.
Yeah, it does.
What's it worth now? About 86 cents.
Yeah. Was it, according to inflation, 50 cents is now like $1.72.
Hey, good for him though, I guess.
Don't get me started.
Yeah. But this week on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are watching Ghostbusters Frozen Empire.
We're gonna need all the help we can get.
Let's get to work.
It's all dark and horny at 12 o'clock.
I've been waiting 40 years for this. They called themselves Ghostbusters. According to these hacks, they saved the world. No eyewitnesses. And who is found to carry the torch? Descendants of Egon Spengler. You have a miner hanging out the side of a moving vehicle, firing a laser gun indiscriminately.
Has a proton pack.
It's completely safe.
I wouldn't say completely safe.
The Ghostbusters are finished. Right, well, overruled.
Sustained.
Thank you.
You the weird guy who buys strange old things?
Correct on both counts.
Buddy, you just hit the jackpot.
What is it?
Better question is, what's inside of it?
The parables tell of an unimaginable evil commanding an army of ghosts. With the power to kill by fear itself.
Like literally scared to death?
We might be looking at a second ice age.
We're gonna need all the help we can get.
Let's get to work.
Can I be of any help?
Melnitz in uniform. Yes.
If there's something strange, if there's something weird, who are people gonna call?
Ghostbusters, what do you want?
We're the Ghostbusters. Can I tell you something else?
What?
Buster makes me feel good. It makes me feel good.
Heads up. Tall, dark, and horny at 12 o'clock.
Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire.
Did that trailer have the tall, dark, and horny line twice?
It did.
No. The first 3 seconds was a trailer for the trailer.
Okay.
In the
Starting
trailer?
now.
Yes.
But that's like playing the trailer for the movie before the movie.
Right.
But if they did that, they'd have to make sure to play the trailer with the trailer for the trailer in it. It's fucking weird. It's trailers.
It's
down.
trailerception.
Down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that line that good? I mean, the girl next to us in the theater like lost her mind. When he said
that girl was.
I mean, let's be clear.
She
it
was the best audience ever for this movie.
You love the you gotta love those people who it's like is this your first time?
Yeah,
Is this your first movie? Yeah.
I love sitting next to those people
everything.
because I laugh because they're laughing. I'm like, oh, you thought that was great? That's hilarious. That's
I mean,
a weird thing to laugh at.
It was probably the funniest line, one of the funniest lines in the movie, just because Bill Murray is
just his delivery. Yeah.
I'm beginning to think it's not so much Ghostbusters I like as Bill Murray.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
yes.
But no. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire was released March 22nd, 2024. Way back then.
Man, I remember those days.
I was gonna say, I feel like that trailer delivered. I mean, I feel like the movie delivered on that trailer.
Yeah,
you know,
yes.
that trailer,
like it or
yes.
not like it, it wasn't like what.
Yeah, no, that movie 100%. That trailer is 100% the movie we got. So
I was really happy with that being the outcome. Like, oh, I'm so glad that they didn't like hoodwink us and have it be like, oh no, it's actually Chevy Chase who's playing a ghost who's in charge of another ghost or something.
But then it just doesn't. Yeah, I mean, obviously there were jokes that didn't make it in that made it into the trailer, but there weren't really large. Didn't seem like large exposition type stuff. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It felt like it delivered. Like you didn't go, well, that was lame, or yeah.
Or the whole movie.
Yeah, exactly. It runs 115 minutes, a little shy of 2 hours. Cost $100 million, and so far at the box office, it's made about 120 million. We are currently in what are we? What is this week? Week 3.
About to be week 3.
Week 3 of its release. It's made its budget plus some extra, so it's looking to, depending on how it legs out, it's looking to probably end up being slightly profitable. We'll see how it goes. It doesn't have the best word of mouth, but it's not been disastrous. It seems to be kind of chugging along, and it's making some good money internationally. So it should probably end up making a slight profit in the end. We'll see, though. We don't know. But
We just don't know.
we just don't know. But with all that talk about the box office, guys, I think that means we should play the box office top 10 game.
Oh, this is the
2
worst
weeks
version.
ago.
Yeah.
This is the game where I describe the top 10 movies of 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. And the guys here are going to try to guess the movies. You ready to play, everybody? Basically, what's currently in theaters right now, minus whatever opened this week. Here we go. At number 10 this week, the story of how one man overcame adversity and the journey behind his revolutionary thing he did.
Napoleon?
No, it's not that. It's a biopic. Well, okay, it's Napoleon is also a biopic.
Is that what Napoleon was doing in Europe? He was overcoming adversity.
It's a prequel to Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just him dancing in front of the Bastille. So let him out.
This is
Vote for Robespierre.
This is a bio. This the tagline is first he changed music, then he changed the world. I don't know about the second part.
Elvish.
Elvish.
No,
it's a little bit Elvis-y. It's Elvish.
Musician.
No, that was already a year ago now.
This is wow. We've already forgotten that this movie exists. And it's been 3 weeks.
Wait. Is it Maestro?
No. Oh, no. That's been out theater.
All right, I'm running
that-
out of music.
Yeah, that would have made sense though.
This is about this is mostly set in the 70s, I believe. I obviously I haven't seen it, but and the musician is more of the pop vein, pop rock vein than
I was going to
the
say
classical.
One Love, that that Bob Marley movie.
Yep, Bob Marley, One Love.
Oh my God, that's still in theaters.
It opened like a month ago, Brian.
I don't know what time is, man. Come on.
Yeah, the more recent, the less I.
That was surprisingly well received, right?
It was moderately received.
I mean, for a biopic that nobody was really like.
I feel like it was like the James Brown one. It just kind of squeaked under the radar. Like I don't know if it's good or bad.
It's made over $100 million so far. So I mean, it's profitable because it doesn't. A biopic costs like what, maybe 30, 40 million.
Yeah, that's good.
There's a disclaimer on the screen before that says "No woman, no cry."
Based on a true story.
No woman.
Based on a true story.
No woman cried in the making of this film.
I gotta finish it. I need to find out if he shot the sheriff or not.
I mean, he did, but this you won't know until the sequel whether or not he got the deputy.
It's a real cliffhanger situation.
The Whaler verse. We're gonna get a bunny movie, a Toots movie, just to interject
a Ziggy Marley movie, which is just 2 hours of him playing like park festivals in the 90s.
Oh my God! Yeah, I would just love for somebody to remake The Harder They Fall.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, that would be cool.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm like, damn, I want to go see this Bob Marley movie now. Talked myself into it, I guess.
At number 9 at the box office. Oh, I've never heard of this movie. After witnessing disease and poverty in the slums of New York, an Italian immigrant embarks on a daring journey to persuade the hostile mayor to provide housing and health care for hundreds of orphaned children.
The Fiorella LaGuardia story.
Is it LaGuardia that did that?
No, I don't know.
I don't know what to make of this. It says
he brought artichokes.
This looks like it's set in the early 1900s, maybe late 1800s, based on a true story. The tagline is, "The world is too small for what I intend to do."
I want to dance.
It just makes me think of what's it, Kendrick Lamar? So big I could. What's it? Dick so big like the Eiffel Tower.
I wish my dick was the size of the Eiffel Tower, so I could fuck the world for 72 hours. I would like to point out that if the world is a woman, a dick the size of the Eiffel Tower is extremely small, Kendrick.
It's how you use it, man. It's how you use it.
Yeah, I've been up there. It's not that.
It's not large enough to satisfy a woman the size of Earth.
I love that line
Look,
so much.
it's not the size of your building.
It's not the size of your steel tower. How you
use it?
Stick it in the earth and wiggle it around.
This movie is from.
Wait, where do you think the vagina is on Earth?
You got to wait for an earthquake and follow the fault lines.
Isn't there like a big ass hole?
The Grand Canyon, Brian?
Well, no, there's a big ass hole somewhere in like Romania that's like the devil hole.
No, no, that's
I
like
think that's.
I was thinking more position. Like, is it below the equator? Like,
it's definitely below the equator.
It's
got to be below.
Like the what is that big crevice in the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh,
The Mariana Trench.
The Mariana Trench.
Yeah.
where James Cameron lives.
Yeah, in his submarine at the bottom of the sea.
No, he's been down there so long he can breathe. I don't know, he's adapted.
He finally found the man in the boat.
He just swims around singing like an animated lobster.
Under the sea.
Playing Pirate Bones.
The movie. That's not okay.
What are we talking about? again?
From
what are we?
From the director of The Sound of Freedom, it's called Cabrini.
Oh, about the guy who fucked the earth. I remember that.
So
Right?
it takes place in New York?
Yeah.
There's a Cabrini in
an
Chicago.
Italian immigrant named Francesca Cabrini in the early 1900s.
Do you think he loved the city enough to have sex with it?
Her, Francesca.
Like the spirit?
Do you think she she and the spirit of the earth had a lesbian relationship?
Probably strapped a harness on that thing, you know.
How many dogs they're rescuing?
How many corgis can we fit into this one-bedroom apartment? So
I can't take this anymore. It's just the dogs. I'm moving to Vermont.
At number 8.
I know nothing about lesbians.
same. I was like, that all checks out. They all moved to Vermont.
Right.
They live so with corgis.
Kevin, have you ever met a lesbian in real life?
This is a lesbian heavy week, actually.
I mean, they all are. Let's be real.
Well, every 3 weeks they are. All right.
At number 8 at the box office, gym manager Lou falls for Jackie, a bodybuilder who's passing through town en route to a competition in Las Vegas.
This is Kristen Stewart and the gal from The Mandalorian.
Baby.
Not the gal from The Mandalorian. It's not
or
her.
not Mandalorian. She's from Andor. Sorry, the chick from Andor.
Oh, okay. I was like Gina Carano. She's definitely not in this.
Oh, definitely not Gina Carano. We don't talk about Gina Carano anymore.
Yeah, and Ed Harris. It's called Love Lies Bleeding.
They both look so fucking cool in the trailer for this.
Yeah, it's a lesbian romance for those of you who are unaware.
It seems like a lesbian version of Queen and Slim, but I don't think that it's the same thing. I think that this is more of a betrayal thing than that. But it seems like they're on the run. They're two young people on the run from a crime.
Yeah,
which is cool.
The tagline is "Revenge gets ripped."
Yeah, it does. God, that chick, she could just carry me like a baby. She's so shredded. She had her costume.
Kristen Stewart.
Just her, just dry, bland Dakota Johnsoning. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just nothing.
People love her.
Though, have you guys ever
doesn't do it for me?
Have you guys ever seen the pic of her at Hooters?
People are morons. People like blood sus.
No.
What's that?
It's just Google Kristen Stewart at Hooters. It was taken back when she was still in the closet, and it's just her standing amongst like 5 Hooters girls with like the biggest shit-eating grin on her face, just like,
oh, I love that.
Yeah.
From the actor who is famous for never smiling.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. Exactly. But also just like she was still in the closet, and it's just like, oh, Kristen, we see what's happening.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know. It's like
she was
Elton
dating
John
Annie.
had to come out.
Right, yeah.
Cool, Elton. We know.
Yeah, Elton.
I think people found out that she was gay when she was dating Annie Clark, which is not a very like subtle famous person to date.
Number 7 at the box office. A woman returns to her childhood home to discover that the imaginary friend she left behind is very real and unhappy that she abandoned him.
What is this called? It's some article.
If.
It's like if.
It's not that.
No, wait.
It's not that. This is a Blumhouse horror film.
Oh. Well, shit.
Meet Chauncey. He's not imaginary, and he's not your friend.
Come play with me.
It's just called Imaginary.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's so crazy that movie came out before the children's version of that movie.
Oh.
Yeah, they were getting a jump on the
the
concept.
Krasinski writing thing.
Which as we were talking about in the theater last night when the trailer came on, it's just, Drop Dead Fred, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
I mean, that's kind of cool, though,
Happy.
for a new generation of kids.
Yeah.
I just think it's weird to have John Krasinski be the thing you're selling a movie with. This children's movie written by John Krasinski, and it's like The Office was like 12 plus years ago when it ended.
Well, I think at this point, the younger kids, I mean, they do know him from The Office because they grew up watching The Office on Netflix. But
they're Jack Ryan fans. That's right.
No, they know him as the director of The Quiet Place.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. He is the Quiet Place director. Weird. I just wanted to make more horror.
I just think it's funny that they're selling it as from the imagination of John.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with recycling that in a new way. Imaginary friends, that's a trope. But yeah, from the
where else is a story idea going to come from?
Or a doll or something like, from the what if imaginary friends were real? Well done, Jim. Well done. Yeah. That's why you're there. From the mind of
looking at the camera, cashing his check.
Exactly. Yeah. From the mind of the guy who can look at a camera like nobody's business.
But Thoreau and I pointed it out too. Like the first trailer was for that. Then the second one was for Quiet Place Year One, and then the next one was an Emily Blunt movie, which is his wife. It just felt like.
You can't get away from these people.
Are we being Krasinski'd or something?
We're living in the age of Krasinski.
I guess so. I had no idea he had the gold-plated touch.
I mean, yeah. At number 6 this week, a live television broadcast in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living rooms. This looks good.
It does.
See this Das Malchian TV host, weird.
Late Night with the Devil.
Late Night with the Devil. Jude saw it. He said he liked it a lot.
Yeah, I've only heard good things. I've heard that it's fucking weird and it will make you uncomfortable in like a way that's fun.
That's what I like.
This is also the movie.
What I said.
That's also the movie that had a couple that had a little bit of a backlash on the internet because they used a couple AI images in it, which is dumb. Apparently, they're on screen for like 3 seconds.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
the
a
way
tool.
we're moving.
It's like carpenters being mad you used an electric saw in the 1800s, or in the 1900s.
It's people that bitched about mocap and stuff when it was early. That's not real.
Yeah.
No, it's cooler than real. That's why we go to movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and apparently, it's like interstitial art or something they use at some point, and it's like what? It's like okay, sure.
Yeah. I'm sure an artist was paid to make the AI art.
Well,
they didn't just go to a machine.
Interstitials. I mean, we probably remember from Carson and stuff. When it would go to a break, there would be a title card that was specific, like either like Johnny or the NBC Peacock or something like that. So it would make sense that those are AI images.
God, now I really want to see it. Now that you're talking about the interstitial thing, I'm like, oh my God, is it like a found footage real vibe thing?
Well, that's how it looks. It looks as if it's you're looking at footage shot at that time.
Yeah,
it's even got the
grain. They're making it seem like it's just like the broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, at number 5 this week. We're halfway through the box office top 10, guys. We would go for 30 minutes. At number 5 this week, an adventure racer adopts a stray dog to join him on an epic endurance race. So, starring Mark Wahlberg.
This is Marky Mark. Yeah, it's like Arthur or something.
Arthur the King. Yeah,
the dog. Rocks.
The dog's name is. I wish it was Dudley Moore and Mark Wahlberg on an adventure race, and Dudley Moore's just like, "Oh, it was your fault. I'm drunk for this."
Speaking of dog movies, I saw a tweet that was hilarious. There was like a reverse Air Bud where a human being accidentally and inexplicably wins the Westminster Dog Show.
Yes, please.
Reverse airbud.
There's nothing in the rules that says a human can't enter the Westminster Dog
Yeah,
Show.
like, it never occurred to us to put it in there.
Could I get a dozen people to run the Iditarod and pull me? I mean, it'd take a lot of convincing. Yeah.
Yeah, they did that.
It didn't work
It
out.
was
Crowdfund
people
this.
before dogs. I guarantee it.
At number 4 this week, Cecilia. She's breaking my heart. She's shaking my confidence daily.
Daily.
A woman of devout faith is warmly welcomed to the picture-perfect Italian countryside, where she's offered a new role at an illustrious convent. But it becomes clear to Cecilia that her new home harbors dark and horrifying secrets. This
illustrious convent.
This is Sydney Sweeney in
The nun, right?
In a nun horror movie. Yes, Sydney Sweeney is a horror nun.
They are checking so many boxes for so many. I was going to say teenage boys. But
I assume at some point she's
men.
topless for some reason.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I ain't afraid of no ghost, except for that nun.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not even Catholic, man. She freaks me out.
An illustrious convent.
The most illustrious convent
We're
in
having
Italy.
a destination wedding.
Does that mean they take in more money from the church, or are they just really
I guess.
thrifty over time? They're like, we just have been saving these pennies, and now we can polish everything.
It's a convent with a lot of riz.
Yeah, it's so posh that stories are told about it. It's illustrious.
Okay, I have a random sort of related question. How far off are we for these Ghostbusters movies to not be doing very well, and for them to then do crossovers with horror movies where it's just them busting horror movies, existing
Paranormal
franchises?
Activity.
Ghostbusters versus Freddy would be amazing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'd never even considered that, but I would love to watch the Ghostbusters go to all of these existing horror franchises.
It's a bird's eye nanny cam of Ray crouched behind a bed. Like
Just saying
Paranormal
words.
Activity.
It's all shot in that style.
Yes.
Oh, I would
You're
watch
muted,
that.
buddy.
How about a Ghostbusters Scooby-Doo?
No?
I mean, I would just
That
Ghostbusters
crossover
v
would be
Casper
dope.
would be incredible. Just them sucking up the Casper family, being like,
Well, they are in the same universe. We've talked about that, but
yeah.
Al's right. That would be because they still do make the straight to streaming Scooby-Doo guest stars. For a while, it was WWE stars all the time, but just like those old ones, Sonny and Cher are helping us.
I want to see wildly inappropriate ones like Ghostbusters v Midsummer.
Oh my
They just show
god.
up and start shooting people jumping off the cliffs.
or just an animated Charlie Day and Frank Reynolds helping Scooby.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So the Nun movie is called Immaculate.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
the least exciting form of conception.
Yeah. Have you guys seen there's the TikTok where the guy I don't have TikTok, but I've seen it posted elsewhere where the guy's like or I was like, where'd you get this pie? I baked it. You baked this pie? Yeah. But we don't have an oven. That's right. Do you see how stupid that sounds, Mary?
It's better be the only one of God's kids, I'll tell you that.
At number 3 this week at the box office. After being tapped to become the spiritual leader of the Valley of Peace, our hero needs to find and train a new dragon warrior while a wicked sorceress plans to resummon all the master villains whom he has vanquished to the spirit realm.
Ass. That's too complicated. I don't know what's happening in this movie.
This is actually the 4th film in a popular series. I've heard it's a not a very good entry, the worst entry into it. It's been a while since the previous 3, like over a decade.
How did train.
You're in the right ballpark.
I know it's not Despicable Me because they've made 4,000 of those in the past 10 years.
This is actually this was a trailer we saw before Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. No, we didn't see this one. Despicable Me was the one we saw, right?
Yeah, we saw that.
Okay. No. This is starring Jack Black.
Oh, it's the Kung Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda
4?
4, yeah.
You know, cash those checks, man.
Yeah.
Gotta eat.
Apparently the first 3 are all very good, I hear.
I've only seen the first one.
Yeah, I saw it years ago.
Again, while Donald Trump was president, not a single Kung Fu Panda was released.
Or Shrek 2, when you told me that.
That's right. No Shrek during the Trump.
That's upsetting to hear.
That alone should sway some votes.
Yeah.
At number 2 this week. I'm sorry. Just sometimes I open up the description and it's just so immediately specific that I can't possibly just say the description. Our hero unites with a group of other people who seek revenge against the conspirators who destroyed his family. This is a sequel.
Lincoln 2.
And I know each one of us have seen it.
You gotta do that, man.
It's a
Dune.
Dune
2.
Dune 2.
Holy crap!
The
Still number 2.
The Dunening.
The Dunening.
It's just gonna stay Dune number 2 forever.
Yeah. Dune 2 has so far made over $600 million. It's doing fine. Dune 3 in development.
It's about to get real weird. I'm so excited.
And an opening at number 1. When the discovery of an ancient artifact unleashes an evil force, Ghostbusters, new and old, must join forces to protect their home and save the world from a second ice age. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire opening at number 1. Like I said, so far it's made almost $120 million. So in 3 weeks, it's doing okay. It's going to be
That's
fine.
Ghostbusters numbers. That's good for a Ghostbusters sequel. I guess.
It did cost $100 million though. So
I take it back.
Yeah. So they're they need to make another $200 million worldwide for it to be good.
So it's just a Ghostbusters sequel, basically.
Yeah.
It's
No,
like,
well,
ooh.
Ghostbusters.
Didn't Ghostbusters 2 not do?
No, Ghostbusters 2 made a shit ton of money. Not as much as the first one, but it did fine because everyone was so excited for it and they didn't realize it was going to be bad.
It was anticipated.
Yeah. So Ghostbusters Frozen Empire was written by Gil Kenan and Jason Reitman, who wrote the first movie, directed by Gil Kenan, who didn't direct the first movie. They switched it up. Jason Reitman directed the first one. Gil Kenan directed this one. The other films Gil Kenan has directed, we talked about his writing. He has also directed, nothing. but no, I'm sorry. He has also directed A Boy Called Christmas in 2021, which is...
I mean, we all got the feeling it was like a Robert Zemeckis thing where, like, I'm sure Jason Reitman was standing quite next to the director's chair.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. He is also an executive producer and he was 100% on set every day being like, I think you should put the camera over there, Gil.
Right. Just straight up, this is what my dad would do.
Yeah.
I think it shows. I think that shows, though, in a good way.
This movie.
Yeah, it was seamless. Like, this seemed like.
It felt like a Ghostbusters movie. Yeah.
Let's see. This movie has 13 Ghostbusters in it, counting Kumail Nanjiani.
I kind of liked that.
Yeah.
It was kind of fun to see like a motley crew all in their flight suits.
It was interesting. It's trending closer and closer to Dan Aykroyd's original vision for Ghostbusters, which was like many teams of Ghostbusters and they go to space. But
you could see on that man's face how delighted he was about all of this.
I was going to say, as we get towards the end of the movie, there are moments where I'm like, oh shit, he is getting the feeling that this is happening.
Yeah.
This thing is firing on all cylinders.
It's not just that Ray is back in his element. Dan Aykroyd's back in his element.
Dan Aykroyd,
comedy and paranormal,
is pleased as fucking punch about everything in this movie.
And it shows in his performance just in every moment when he's got something to do. Oh, it's so good.
So, all right, I'm going to really quickly run through our past.
Yeah, who we
all
haven't
13,
talked about.
our Baker's Dozen.
Paul Rudd is back as Gary. Carrie Coon is back as Callie. Finn Wolfhard is back as Trevor. McKenna Grace is back as Phoebe. Celeste O'Connor is back as Lucky Domingo. Logan Kim is back as Podcast. Yes. Bill Murray is back as Peter Venkman. Dan Aykroyd is back as Ray Stantz. Ernie Hudson is back as Winston Zeddemore. Annie Potts is back as Janine Melnitz. William Atherton returns as Walter Peck. We haven't seen him since the first movie. He's the mayor now. In the first movie, he played Dickless. And I would like to say this movie's biggest failing is the fact that when Bill Murray finally comes face to face with William Atherton again for the first time since 1984, he gets one fucking PG bullshit line.
Yeah, it was so underwhelming. I'm like, they had to have cut that. Because what did he say? Something like
This was the he was like, he called him a clown.
Yeah, that's it.
He said
that's all he did.
Yeah, he called him a clown. Like that was pathetic. That alone dropped this movie a full star rating for me.
I noticed it too. Yeah.
This was the most PG fucking. I'm sorry, but was it even 13?
It's like, why wouldn't you call back to the Dickless thing?
Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, somebody in the crowd did shout it. Shut up, Dickless.
Good.
That was pretty funny.
That's true. This man has no penis.
Yeah, that was very disappointing. Joining our cast for the first time in the Ghostbusters world, Kumail Nanjiani as Nadim Razmati. Kumail Nanjiani, we talked about him in our Eternals episode. He's really, really great in Silicon Valley. Anyone who
Nerd Boy extraordinaire.
Yeah.
He and Jonah Ray had a show that they filmed at Largo, and it was such a underrated gem.
I haven't seen that.
Comedy Central, I believe.
I just got to say, he's just so shredded.
Yes, he is.
He was. Yeah,
his face. He's just so chiseled now.
Yeah,
because I was talking about.
Because he got in shape for Marvel, and he just kept it.
Yeah. I wonder what his regimen is, because he's just
you do.
Well, I mean, I have a hunch, like all those guys, but
every time I like we talk about this, I always think of the Rob McElhenney quote where he's like, when he was Fat Mac for one season and then he got shredded immediately. He's like, guys, it's easy. All you have to do is stop drinking any alcohol, get yourself a private nutritionist, eat nothing but lettuce and meat and beans, run 5 hours a day, work out 3 times a day, and then 6 months later you can look like this too. Why doesn't everyone do it?
I love it. Yeah, it's. Well, and the other thing too is that these guys are getting medicated, like assistants.
Yes,
by medical doctors.
They have private nutritionists, medical doctors on call. Like,
steroids. Like, it's not just hard work.
Yeah,
most people can't afford to be healthy.
Yeah,
it's expensive.
Yeah, that's not even healthy. That's shredded.
You can't afford to look like that.
Yeah.
There's the show I was talking about real quick. It's hilarious. Kumail's talking about when he was a kid watching Silence of the Lambs with his dad, and he turned to his dad and he's like, "Why does Buffalo Bill why does he do those things?" His dad's like, "Well, he has a screw loose." And then Jonah's like, "And what does your father do? He's a psychiatrist." He has a screw loose. That was.
Patton Oswalt joins as Dr. Hubert Wartsky. Patton Oswalt is Patton Oswalt. I don't know. We've talked about him dozens of times, I feel like, at this point. He's in every movie. I literally think I don't like looking at his filmography is insane because he's in movies that you do not remember he's in at all. He was in Magnolia. He was in Down Periscope. He was in Zoolander. He was in Blade Trinity.
I remember that.
He was in what? Let's see, Ratatouille. We all remember that one. He was in what? Young adult, a very Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas.
We just he was also in Eternals with Kumail. He was
that's right.
Control.
That's right. He was in the after credits scene. Not to mention TV. He was in Seinfeld. He was in News Radio. He was in Mr. Show. Dr.
He was on
Katz.
Community. He works in the campus health.
He was in Community.
I'm sort of the Hawkeye of this place.
Do you guys anyone who hasn't heard his Parks and Rec Star Wars Marvel crossover speech?
His filibuster, yeah.
Yeah, where he's filibustering and he's talking about, episode 7, we open. This was before that Disney bought Star Wars. Yeah, it was like, episode 7, we open on the Millennium Falcon. Chewbacca. They come across
an Infinity Stone.
Yeah,
he ties every universe together, and he's improvising the entire thing.
Yeah, and apparently, if behind the scenes, it's literally a 20-minute speech he gives about Star Wars and Marvel crossing over.
And it's a one-take improv, so everyone there has to keep their shit together, or else it's going to be totally different the next take. So yeah, people are just.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
It really is. But yeah, no, Patton Oswalt is in literally everything. Flight of the Conchord, the Venture Brothers, Caprica, which was the spin-off.
I forgot he's in Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah, but Caprica, which was the spin-off to Battlestar Galactica. He's done voices in Futurama, Bob's Burgers, Burn Notice, 2.5 Men, The Simpsons,
Happy. That's one of my. Again, it's about an imaginary friend.
He's the imaginary friend, right?
What's
Happy?
Happy. Right. What's the actor's name in that?
Chris Maloney.
Chris Maloney. Years ago, when Happy first came on the air, it was right about the time Attention Hellmart Shoppers, our audio drama here at the Harmless Entertainment Network. It was when I was first releasing that, and on Twitter, someone mentioned something about Happy on that, and I said, I haven't watched that, and Chris Maloney responded and just said, big mistake, buddy. I was like, I'm sorry. I love
that, dude. And it's such a great character. Such a great show. I don't know. It was so underrated.
Yeah. I still haven't watched it. All these years later, Chris Maloney's probably so disappointed in me.
Watch it.
Yeah, I'll get to it at some point. There's a lot of TV,
then you'll definitely
guys.
Be like, there's no way John Krasinski didn't see them.
Right. As far as our cast, Emily Allen Lind as Melody. We talked about her most recently on our Dr. Sleep episode. That is on patreon.com/harmless entertainment. It's one of our monthly movies. Was that main feed? Was that on Haunted Phosphorescence? That might have been a Haunted Phosphorescence
that might
episode.
Have been, because we had done The Shining.
Yeah. Dr. Sleep. She played Snakebite Andy in that.
That's right.
That's
right.
James.
We should do The Shining again.
Just do another Shining episode. James A. Castor as Dr. Lars Pinfield. James A. Castor. He's probably best known as a stand-up, I feel like.
The British kid?
Yeah. Jude is he's huge with Gen Z. Gen Z loves this dude and his stand-up. But he did some Drunk History UK episodes. A lot of stand-up specials, like a lot. And yeah,
he has a nice dry wit. The Zoomers seem to like.
Yeah,
Right.
the Zoomers dig him a lot. And that's about it.
Let's dive in.
Chili. Let's see. The puppeteers. There were a lot of the ghosts were puppets that were done with in the old style. They didn't CG a lot of them.
That's cool.
Kevin Mangold and Ian White puppeteered Slimer and Garaka. They're stuntmen mostly. And Shelby Young, it was an actress. Let's see, Shelby Young is. She was in Star Wars. Who is she in Star Wars? She's a voice actress in one of the Star Wars cartoons. Did the voice of the mini Stay Puffs. But yeah, that's about it. Dario Marianelli did the film's score. Let me rephrase that. Dario Marianelli repurposed the Ghostbusters score. Yeah.
And that's cool. That's important.
And we've got ourselves an explainer song, which does not appear in the movie anywhere that I could see, but it does exist. It's by a Japanese girl group named Atashari Gakko, and the track is called Ghostbusters Frozen Summer.
That's cool.
So, that completes it. There is a song for every Ghostbusters movie. This movie has 44% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. 84% audience score.
Huh.
Got a couple Letterboxd reviews here. Letterboxd reviewer Mia writes, "Imagine opening a portal to another dimension for some ghost pussy."
It's the reason anyone's done anything since the beginning of time. So,
yeah,
bridges were built for pussy. Civilizations were built for pussy.
Yeah, technology and being a teenager, it's a confusing time, dangerous time to have portal technology.
It really
whatever
is.
the hell that is.
Yeah.
Not like when we were kids.
Yeah.
Portals
Well, no,
you
I-
had to build a Stargate.
Yeah, you think social media is bad. Imagine if you could take your soul out of your body and then make out with a ghost.
Imagine.
We'd have rifts in the earth everywhere.
That's Biden's America, folks.
And Letterboxd user
Gay ghosts nationwide.
Lesbian ghosts.
Lesbian ghosts. Letterboxd user Molly writes, "If I died and came back to life, the first place I'd go is a vape shop."
Yeah, that was funny in a very weird way.
So yeah, that's it. That's it on the production, guys. You ready to jump into the movie itself?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
No, I know.
I'm going to get my horns and put them on. That's where I keep my power.
I'm the
For
fire master.
podcasting. Yeah.
Better than the key master because I can melt down your keys.
That's right. But the Keymaster can make you copies at Ace Hardware.
I was gonna say he owns today's hardware. It's gonna take longer than it should, though.
A confusingly long amount of time, actually. All right, here we go. This is Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. We open with a quote from Robert Frost. Frost, get it? Cold frost.
Frosty.
Well, and the
quote itself, talks about fire, the famous fire and ice quote.
Will the world end in fire? Will it end in ice?
Yeah.
It's so funny because it doesn't seem that crazy reading it. I was like, wow, I forgot how simple some of Frost's stuff is.
I
It
chuckled
feels like
because this is people believe.
yeah.
Robert Frost believes that.
Yeah.
that a crow carries your spirit to the next.
I like to think Robert Frost does believe that. Or
Robert
did.
Frost was the
He
crow.
He does.
He's a path diverges in the woods.
Yeah.
I took the one where I could kiss a ghost as a ghost.
They're all this way. That way, the North Pole.
You have to wonder if a ghost kisses a ghost in the woods, does it make a sound?
Well, and so like, but it's interesting the poem at the beginning because Ghost Girl is fire. She is literally on fire the whole time in this frozen story, which I was like, oh, okay. I remember that poem at the beginning. That's interesting.
Yeah. No. There was, they did, fire and ice.
It's not deep, but it's cool that they're still tying back to the poem in some way.
So, this whole movie made me think somebody read Save the Cat. Anyways, we cut to the Ghostbusters firehouse, but it's 1904. The New York Fire Department rushes to a building. There's a plaque on it that says the Manhattan Adventurers Club. They find everyone inside frozen, dead. Then a woman in exotic-looking armor holds a metal ball, which is closing in a kind of weird Hellraiser-y, clicky-clack way.
Or in what were those mother boxes?
Yeah,
Justice
League. It's like that, or like a round Rubik's cube.
Thank you, Simon.
I really liked the way this thing looked. It was very Hellraiser, which is cool.
Yeah,
as far as the device goes, it was pretty.
Yeah.
We briefly see that the ball has a small opening, which is closing. Inside the ball, we see a dangerous, ghostly creature.
That's what's in my balls. I'll tell you that.
Jude pointed out that since we no longer are comfortable as a society with magical Negroes, we now have magical Indians and magical Pakistanis.
Oh yeah.
He's so right.
Yep.
We cut to present day New York. It's 3 years after the events in Oklahoma.
The events in Oklahoma. The rest of that story is going to be terrible if that's the headline.
Callie Spengler is there with her boyfriend Gary Gruberson and her kids Trevor and Phoebe. They're all in the Ecto-1 chasing a dragon ghost through New York. They cause a lot of damage, but eventually catch it.
I think if the Grubersons and the Spenglers get married, Trevor should change his name to Trevor Gruberson. He should adopt a B.
Trevor.
Last name. Trevor.
Spanglersons.
Yeah.
Hyphenate.
Yeah, they're chasing the Hell's Kitchen sewer
dragon ghost. Yeah.
Dragon. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, at the end, Paul Rudd calls himself Gary Spengler. He takes her last name.
Yep. That's, it's very modern.
We see a news story that there's been a big uptick in ghostly activity. And also it's a really hot summer in the city. The back of my neck is not not clean.
It's slimy.
It's dirty and gritty. The Ghostbusters are called into the mayor's office. The mayor is now Walter Peck, despite the fact that he has no penis. He is mayor. He dresses.
He's made it to mayor.
Wasn't he like an EPA guy?
Yeah, I have a hard time buying this guy getting elected mayor of New York City.
Yeah,
I would have agreed with you pre-Trump.
But
Rudy.
Well,
you're right. It's an odd path.
It's pretty funny though when they show him in the the situation windbreaker that every politician wears.
Yes.
And I thought in that moment, you know what? He does look like he could be the mayor of New York now that I see him in a situation windbreaker. It feels like he is on the scene.
I buy William Atherton as mayor of New York for sure. Just maybe not Walter Peck. Yeah. Yeah, so he dresses them down for causing so much damage and insists, at the very least, that Phoebe does not participate in busting ghosts as she's a minor.
I think the point maybe is that the EPA isn't taken as seriously as it was originally, especially in the 80s. They were a big, Dow Chemical and a lot of those. Now, because of the misinformation system, they've been demonized and weirdoed. And
well, yeah, and
probably had to give them authority that was more respected.
Yeah, and well, a lot of those laws have literally been repealed thanks to a few.
And any EPA case is just wrapped in bureaucracy. So it's just paperwork. That's all the power he would ultimately have is just filing reports, and then they file appeals, and then they file reports. But I guess as mayor, he has
some executive power to do something with. It's interesting, the difference in how we view those regulatory agencies in the 80s versus today.
Yeah.
It was 40 years ago. Holy shit.
Yeah. No, in the 80s, there was like, okay, that's...
it was Nixon's baby, and they used to do stuff.
Yeah.
They really did.
Cleaned a lot of water up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're the reason that you can breathe at all outside in Southern California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're the reason why things like leptospirosis and like bacteria are the things you're worried about in water, and not like lead.
Yeah, well, yeah, and they're the reason why we're not still being sprayed with DEET on hot summer days
or
chasing the truck. Yeah.
So the Ghostbusters go back to the firehouse where they live now. Phoebe argues with her mom about wanting to bust ghosts. Callie, who's dating Gary, tells him she wishes he was a sterner parental figure. He's not sure that's his place. Downstairs, they have some trouble with the containment unit.
They're living there because Winston bought it outright.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I love the arc of Winston Zeddemore. I feel like they've redeemed any of the complaints we had early on about him being a garbage man, or him being, the random black guy, and he doesn't care really.
Yeah, he is
the paycheck. They redeemed all that shit.
Yeah, they did. He's become
the most successful Ghostbuster.
He's the most successful one, and he's become the de facto leader.
Yeah.
I
have
he's
questions.
The Professor X-ish. They got their lab and their secret. Yeah.
How does that tie into the first movie? Like, how active was he with Spangler before he died? Was he involved at all, or it was him getting invested in building this thing as a result of being like, oh, ghosts are still happening?
Well,
was he doing this before that?
That's why I think his arc is interesting, because he wasn't necessarily a skeptic, but he didn't believe either way. Like, if it pays, I believe in whatever. But then jump to Ghostbusters 2, it's Ray and Winston still keeping it alive. Yeah, they're doing birthday parties and shit. So as it progresses, he becomes more interested in the science. And then on top of that, he's a shrewd investor, which... Maybe it's a generalization, but...
and dude looks so damn good in a suit, too. I'm so glad that they found a reason to put him in a suit throughout most of the movie. Yeah. That was so fun. When he took off the suit coat to put on the jumpsuit, I was just like, that was worth costuming him in a suit.
And Ernie Hudson in his 70s looks amazing. He looks better than me.
Yeah, he looks incredible.
Like I want he and Keith David to make a movie. Finally.
So apparently Keith David has recently, like within the last month or two, started a TikTok, which he is extremely active on. Jude follows it, and apparently he responds to every single comment he gets.
Yeah. Jeremy was telling me about this the other day. He's like super sweet and like thoughtful in every response too.
Yeah. And every single one, but like Jude is like, every single one though is like such like old guy, because like someone will be like, I love you. And he'll say, thank you, period.
Steve Gutenberg, it's the same kind of thing. Like, I don't know. It's just delightful. He's just a delightful old man.
Yeah.
Like, finding nice things every day to be happy about.
Apparently, Gen Z has discovered Keith David for Has Been Hotel, which is a new animated series, which is very popular with Gen Z that I have not watched.
Well, he's a big voice actor.
Yeah.
Rick and Morty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. President in Rick and Morty.
Lots of superhero, I'm sure. I think he's done a lot of DC.
Yeah.
Animated.
Manhunter? Maybe? No.
I don't know. So
he was Goliath in Gargoyles is the one that I remember most.
Wonder if Jordan Peele's still trying to get that made. He was talking about it early in his career.
Like a Gargoyles
movie.
That'd be interesting. So we cut to Ray, who has a YouTube channel now that he's running with podcast, who's living with him for the summer in the basement.
His parents think he's at space camp.
Yeah.
I loved the cassette tape playing the sounds of the announcements at space camp.
Yeah.
Like Ferris Bueller.
But not just the announcements, it's ready for liftoff. Like,
yeah,
he's about to lift off.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom. We're practicing.
All right, I gotta go. We're lifting off.
So what language was he speaking?
Simulation.
Did anybody catch what language he was speaking?
I think.
Oh no, wait, he's Greek, right?
No, I thought he was. No. I thought he was like Filipino or something.
The actor's name, his last name is Kim, which I assume is Japanese, but Katie clocked it as Japanese, but I wasn't sure. But I figured he was from Oklahoma, and I first thought maybe he was speaking some native dialect in Oklahoma.
Yeah, no, it's definitely Asian of some sort. I feel bad that I don't know.
I think they were Asian.
But that kid grew into his older teen body, I think, like a little too smoothly, because podcast was like a weird kind of like quirky, funky kid, and now he's just like a young, good-looking guy who can't. He's having a hard time playing quirky.
He grew a foot and a half since the last movie. Yeah,
I was like, oh,
he didn't gain a pound and grew a foot and a half, and now he's just
honestly,
like teen idol looking.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool for him, though.
Yeah, good for him.
His two movies are him growing up through adolescence, and now everything else after this is going to be him as a grown man. Like
Thoreau's right. Like he's handsome. He has rugged good looks. Yeah. He's going to grow it. Whereas like Finn Wolfhard's looks like they just enlarged a 13-year-old.
Yes. One day just emerge as a crow and fly away into the sky.
So I'm bony and weird.
Yeah, no, Finn Wolfhard is a living Jack Skellington.
Yeah,
he doesn't live up to his last name. That should be a Viking-looking motherfucker.
Somebody will make him a superhero, and he'll get the Kumail Nanjiani, I'm sure.
He'll gain like 40 pounds and be ripped.
Yeah,
puffed it up.
Yeah. Okay, so we see that Phoebe visits podcast. They reconnect. He's brought some mini marshmallow men with him from Oklahoma. Meanwhile, Ray gets visited by Nadim Razmadi. Nadim sells a strange brass orb with ritual markings on it that was in his late grandmother's possession.
Ray, real quick, the reason they were going downstairs is she brought Ray a sample of mood slime, the pink mood slime from part 2, which was odd. Maybe it was just at the firehouse and she had to bring it to him. But But it's mood slime. She even calls it that, which is fun. There are some callbacks that there weren't in this last one.
They actually acknowledge the existence of Ghostbusters 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Statue of Liberty in particular.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Debacle.
Debacle.
It was a debacle.
I think we could come up with a better word.
The incident with the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Test of the orb's PKE levels causes it to unleash a what Wikipedia calls psionic pulse. This leads to the ghost containment unit at the firehouse to be damaged.
This is a weird ticking clock MacGuffin thing to me. The wall unit, it makes sense, but it just, damn, that thing's robust.
Yeah, and also like they like it's weird when it was having the trouble that they didn't like Winston wasn't immediately like, okay, let's get it out of the wall. We'll get it to my lab. We'll load all the ghosts into my big one.
Yeah, let's dig a hole and get a crane and get this thing out of here and drive it to Staten Island with the rest of them.
Yeah.
I guess it's the location is important.
Exactly,
that's right. Yeah.
Also, you'd have to keep it powered up the whole
true.
time that when you're digging it up, it has to be powered on. When you drive it over to the other place, it would have to be running.
Yeah, I think that's what they were trying to perfect in Winston's lab. Like, they're trying to figure out a way to get them there to that aquarium lab type thing, but that's it's filled to the brim with 40 years now worth of ghosts.
Well, and I thought it was cool that they weren't being hasty. It's interesting, as I'm not kind of griping about the technology. It's just interesting that, like, in Ghostbusters world, advanced technology is built like a diesel truck. Like, you could put bullets through a proto pack and it would still work,
Yeah, no, everything's built like in the 80s, like where they expected it to be very mechanical.
It's still World War I technology. Egon. Yeah, and
they hand
built by Egon.
They know that Egon knew what he was doing.
Yeah, nothing's computerized really, and what is computerized is still very like pixelated and like 80s looking, like it's still dot matrix.
Well, it's like written to the hardware.
Yeah,
like the actual programming is like
the monitor that shows
disc.
The separation of the spirit from the object, like it looked like Pong or Space Invaders.
It was like a CRT monitor from like the So it's Gary and Callie call in Janine, who's working for Winston now. She investigates and reports back to Winston. Meanwhile, Trevor finds some slime dripping from the ceiling. I would not have stuck my finger in that hole.
They have got to pay him more per stunt for that. Like, how did he become
entire theater had a visceral reaction?
He was the biggest like kid name in the first movie, and now he's like has a 3-beat Slimer thing, and that's it.
He has got so much green slime in his mouth in this movie. It is so gross.
Yeah. But that leave it to a teenage boy to stick his finger in a hole that it doesn't belong in.
Yeah, soft and goopy.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can fuck this.
Oh, 100%. That thought crossed his mind.
I need some climbing gear.
I'm gonna have to hang from the ceiling.
I need the Mission Impossible harness.
Yeah. I need some.
I wish that's what sex harnesses were called.
Mission Impossible
harness.
Just spin again. The community. We bring up community so often. Dean Pelton, when he's in the harness, just spinning around. Trevor goes into the attic. He finds Slimer living there. He isn't able to capture him, though. He does get slimed.
I do love that he's covered in snacks.
Yeah.
And that they brought Slimer back. Like, as much as I don't enjoy the character, it's a foundational thing Slimer. At this point.
It's fun that he makes a nest.
Yeah. Well, and he's been living there since he got released from the containment unit in the first movie. We saw him with Rick Moranis in Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
I like Slimer. It's fun. If they're going to keep showing us little Stay Puffs, which again we've talked about came from Ray's, and now it's in the collective consciousness. But yeah, Slimer. It's nice to see him.
And Slimer looked spooky in this. They managed to make him seem like ooh. Like, I don't want to look at it too long.
He looks so much bigger compared to Finn Wolfhard than I imagined him to be. Like, I imagined him to be like maybe like a beach ball sized guy, but like in this, he seems to be like he's like the size of of like a chair, a stuffed chair.
Yeah. Been a long time. We all get a little.
Yeah. Maybe he's been growing.
Oh yeah.
We don't even know how long he's been dead.
It's weird that a ghost can eat, but that was again established in the first movie.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and buy that if a ghost can play with a book of matches.
Yeah. Oh, once we get to that, I have so many problems with that.
But then he helps save the day, like in the cartoons. I was cool with Slimmer.
I like how they explained the book of matches. It all ties back to the experiments that they're doing with Ray's stuff that he's collecting.
But I have a real problem with that character existing. Oh
yeah,
period.
They are missing one main thing about that character, which is, did she burn down the diner that she's sitting in? Because it's got her name on it. My name's Melody. Melody Diner. She's sitting there playing with matches. I don't know. They're missing her parents died and she feels bad. Did she kill her parents?
Oh, it seems like she definitely killed her parents.
Seems like she did. Yeah,
but it was an accident. Yeah,
it was probably an accident.
But also, like, that's. I mean, okay, so I'm just gonna like that. There's one ghost who's just a person, who's a ghost that isn't like a weird creature or doesn't become a weird like only communicates through like screaming and being scary. Just one ghost who's just a chick. She's just
not just a ghost. She is fated to become a ghost and stay a ghost until Phoebe shows up so that she can steal Phoebe's soul to please the guy from Mesoamerican history or whatever. You know? Like pre-Babylonian. How did she get into this? Is he at the gate?
How corporeal she is. And they do, Phoebe says something about it, but like she is a ghost, but then she can touch certain things. But also, then she can phase through matter.
But But also, like she like, again, this is the first time we've ever seen a ghost just talk to somebody. Yeah, and Phoebe's completely unfazed. Every other ghost was just like, blah.
Yeah, it's a great point. They haven't. Well, they sort of did it with Harold Ramis' ghost, which I'm so glad he didn't appear. But
Ray does have sex with that one ghost.
That's true.
That was a dream. His wife.
That was technically a dream, although it wasn't filmed as a dream.
She became Mrs. Dan Aykroyd, so it was more than a dream. Donna Dixon.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah,
but yeah, that's this movie had too few ghost blowjobs.
I think the franchise has one too many. That's just me.
I mean,
glass half full, glass half empty.
I have to say, the cowardice of this movie not having ghost cunnilingus.
I know, or even a kiss. I thought the kiss was going.
Yeah. We'll get to our elusive ghost kiss.
Talk to the average woman. I think they consider most cunnilingus to be ghost cunnilingus. Unless you find a guy who really knows what he's doing.
So the Ghostbusters get a call. Callie refuses to let Phoebe go with them. So Phoebe goes to the park to play chess, where she encounters and befriends the ghost of a teenage girl named Melody, who died alongside her family in a stray fire caused by her playing with matches. They flirt.
And she's a chess whiz.
She is.
And she's been playing chess in the park for 100 years.
Well, no. This is a very modern.
That's a modern
ghost.
Or
maybe since the 90s?
40 or 50s. Like, well, she seemed to be. I don't know. I guess she was in the diner. That's why I associated her with like.
No, like just her dress and talk. I felt like she was like. I felt she was in 90s or more.
That's fair.
I'd say Zoomer even.
But she said she had a lot of time to practice playing chess, and all I can think is, with who was she? Has she just been haunting this park playing chess?
Oh
with
yeah,
people?
Just people show up
scaring them away.
With the ghost.
But everybody gets scared away. But she gets practicing. So I have questions. Like how did you get practice if no one's ever played with you before?
Yeah, and what era is she from? Because she says we lived in a tenement, which sounds.
Oh. No.
No. She said the word. She said the word tenement.
Yeah, that's still a thing.
It is.
That's
that
fair.
Didn't go away. Well,
it didn't go away, but like also like, I don't know. I'm just
It's a kind of building.
Yes, it is, but also like she's.
You might be confusing it with public housing, or is that what you're thinking?
No. I understand completely, but I was thinking
just
of
using
the old tenement, like the original, like I know those buildings still exist and people still live in tenements, but when they were originally they came into being like early 20th century, late 19th century. So
apartment buildings, yeah, are around then, yes. But that's all. They're still referred to. I mean, it's been a while since I lived back east, but I mean that's.
I read it as them trying
There's a tenement building, and then you go right, and then we never had anything really like that. But yeah, it was the turn of the century.
It felt like they were trying to date
buildings.
her with that choice, with the word choice, instead of her saying like, we used to live in a building right here.
But I mean, it could be they were just trying to
disagree, because a building would imply it's her and her family. A tenement means that lots of people died.
That's okay. Fair. Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, but
we have tenants that live in tenements.
she was definitely very Zoomer personality wise, but I got the feeling just that they were trying to make it seem like she had been a ghost for at least a decade or two. I don't know.
I didn't get a feeling they were trying to date her in any way. But the way she spoke on the little tour with Phoebe, she said some things that reminded me of things the youth say. I can't remember exactly.
Well, yeah.
Or just the way they put things.
She didn't seem out of time in any sense. Like, oh, this is cool. This is neat.
She wasn't in a Victorian dress. I guess we could.
Yeah,
we can
that's
appreciate
fair.
that.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Like the library ghost or something.
Yeah.
Or just like ghosts in general in all of pop culture. Like they're starting to make ghosts more modern looking. But like apparently the only people that couldn't cross over were Victorian era like children.
People stopped dying in the 20th century, or when you died in the 20th century, you just died.
Where's the ghost with the members only jacket? Where's the like windbreaker
Well,
ghost?
yeah, have you guys ever watched what is that show? It's a British show. And then they made an American version. It's about a ghost, a werewolf, a vampire.
Oh,
and like our roommates. What was that called? It was from the 2000s.
I know what you mean.
But
being something or human?
Oh yeah, being human.
Being human.
Yeah. No, in that there's like they're friends with a ghost who's like an 80s like mod like new wave guy because that's when he died. Yeah. But okay. Okay. So according to the actress, Melody accidentally burned herself and her family. This is what she said to the press. The actress. Melody accidentally burned herself and her family alive during a tenement fire many decades earlier. And so she's been trapped in ghost limbo ever since. That's a quote from the actress.
That's 90s.
90s? I would say at least 90s then, just by her demeanor.
Many decades, yeah.
90s is 3 decades. 3 decades earlier. Yeah. God damn it.
I mean, well, there you have it. But I didn't get an impression either way.
No, it was vague. It felt vague in the film for sure. So the next day, Lars, a researcher from Winston's lab, comes to take a look at the containment unit. He in turn calls Winston. They tell him that the containment unit is essentially they tell the Ghostbusters about the containment unit. No, it's essentially a large trap. It's been filling up with ghosts for 40 years and is near capacity. Winston takes them to his lab where they find Lucky working. The biggest downgrade from the first film, I feel like, as far as like what this actress got to do.
I liked the like aquarium, the sort of they're all on display, almost like a psychiatric.
Yeah. It felt like Hellboy in a cool way.
Yeah.
And I love that, that it was more like the original and maybe even Afterlife, where there is new tech, but they take the time to explain it. We were complaining about with Answer the Call that there was a lot of new tech, but it was just showing the tech off, not explaining what, where, or what. Winston explained what's going on in that lab. Nice and tidy. Thank you.
Great science fiction exposition.
Yeah. It's got the photon. It's got the shield above it. Okay, thank you. Like it was nice and tight.
Yep. And this machine pulls the ghosts out of the objects, and yeah.
They do that, but they're not just catching ghosts; they're studying the ghosts.
Yeah,
which is why they have the the rooms.
Yeah, and there we see the one that can move or can inhabit any object and can jump from object to
Possessor.
object. Yeah,
Possessor. Who is the star of this movie, I think, from this point on.
Is a character.
Yeah.
Somehow it worked rather than just another recycled ghost.
I was really kind of frustrated when they shoehorned Lucky into this movie.
Oh, so shoehorned in.
Oklahoma is not that close to New York City.
No, well, and I get the feeling that...
And did all these kids get in the station wagon at the end of that movie and drive away?
I think Lucky's like 18 or...
yeah, she is. I get the feeling that Lucky got hired there because of her experience in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah. Wait, Trevor's 18, and she's older than Trevor because he lied. He got the job at 15.
Oh, yeah, so she's like 19 or 20 maybe.
Yeah, 19 or 20.
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together
So
yet.
she moved to New York because, that was a one-horse town.
And
her dad's the sheriff.
And did not tell Trevor.
Yeah. So
no.
But she said she was interning too, right?
Yeah. I just love that she didn't tell Trevor that she's in town.
Yeah.
Like
she's
that was a summertime thing.
I think because Winston's kind of the Tony Stark now.
Yeah.
Very much so.
It's like I'm sure her dad, who was the sheriff, Bokeem, would.
Oh, that's right.
I'm sure he was probably like, "All right, fine, you can do it."
So
you can do that.
Sheriff, yeah.
So okay, so Afterlife was we talked about this very, very much an Amblin like 80s movie. It felt like it was like doing Kids on Bikes. Like it was doing a thing. It felt I don't want to say it felt cool and unique because it didn't. It was very much like that kind of movie. But
I thought it harkened back to that in a cool and I could say unique.
I thought
guess,
so, but that's exactly why it had to be in the countryside.
Yeah, exactly.
You just cannot get that vibe or that magic hour. You can't get magic hour in the city very well. There's no horizon.
It had to be quaint.
Yeah.
Well, and you can't be in the forest necessarily and get that same experience.
Right. Yeah, you need a vista a bit. But whereas
long
Frozen Empire is just like it's just like a movie. It's just a fucking movie. Like there's no anything. There's no genre here. It's not like it's not a comedy. It's not an Amblin type like throwback. It's just a fucking movie-ass movie.
It is a slice of life of what if these characters were Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Which is weird. It felt like a Marvel Ghostbusters.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, Al.
But everybody is Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Because they all just got given the thing.
Yes.
And everybody except for Phoebe is Ant-Man.
This is extremely Marvelized Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Mom is Ant-Man. Finn Wolfhard is Ant-Man. Ant-Man is Ant-Man. They're all just like, greatness is thrust upon you when someone gives you an Ant-Man suit.
Yeah.
And then Phoebe is just Phoebe. She's just Spangler.
And I like that Peck describes them as the descendants of Egon Spengler.
That's
as if
your
he's Genghis
grandpa.
Khan or something.
Exactly.
That's so great.
That's one generation. He was my dad, literally. The descendants of Egon Spengler. As they emerge from their cave.
His performance is so good. He is one smart fart-smelling motherfucker.
He is. I like that guy.
Yeah. So they're removing ghosts from objects. They're studying them. So Trevor and Lucky go to see Nadim, who reveals the orb was hidden by his grandmother in a brass-lined chamber behind her kitchen, behind her pantry. Peter Venkman gets brought in to help. They take Nadim to him. He studies them and finds he has latent pyrokinetic powers that he doesn't know about. And that
I think the brass was cool. I think that going to this like pre-bronze era, because right, Al, am I wrong on that? I don't know if you guys know about metallurgy. Brass is pre-bronze, right?
I'm not exactly sure. Brass is a copper zinc alloy.
And
bronze
then
is
you add iron to it.
Add iron to that.
Brass is I think it predates it. So that just shows the age of what they're using to fight evil spirits.
But if you add,
I won't jump ahead, but the way that it ties in to the climax, I did appreciate.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking like, okay, so that he can freeze the photon beams, or, you know, and I was like, so what do they do? That's their ace in the hole.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool how they do that. We'll get there, but
yeah. That night they go back home. Ghostbusters go out on a call without Phoebe again. But then another call comes in, so she and Podcast go to investigate it. It's at a diner. They find Melody there. Melody escapes without incident, though they do destroy a wall at the diner.
I think it was weird they walked.
Well, I mean, they're teenagers and they don't have a car.
They didn't have the Echo
and you can't really ride a bicycle down the sidewalk.
It would have been funny if they'd pulled up, like we see them getting out of a lift.
That would have been...
Or a BMX with pegs on the back and Podcast just standing on the pegs and she's cycling. But you're right, those things are so heavy.
97.
Yeah. But yeah, no, them getting out of an Uber or something would have been a funny beat.
That would have been just like a weird, like a sedan pulls up. We're like, who the hell's this sedan? And the kids get out. Sorry, it would have. Thank you for that.
So the diner's called Melody, which then, you know, Melody's so that's probably where she got her name. Not. I don't mean her parents named her after a diner. I mean that's what she's telling us.
Her ghost.
Yeah,
name. That's her ghost name. But you have to change. It's like a confirmation, you know, like a Catholic confirmation or bar mitzvah. You take on a.
It's like her
diner's name.
It's her gang
name. The
name
of your favorite cafe.
Yeah. It's like her street name.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. Bronze is an alloy of copper and tin.
But
it's often banged out, right?
My bad.
I mean, you can forge it like you can forge anything.
Well, it's bronze is copper and tin mix, but if you add some vermouth, then it's
you have an old fashioned. You have a prehistoric.
A very dirty martini.
Just full of alloys and whatnot. Give me those macroplastics.
Did you wash this glass? Yeah, I put plenty of zinc in there too.
Don't worry, you won't get
glass.
Sick. Yeah.
And they're like, "What's glass? Never mind. Let's make brass."
Meanwhile, at Winston's lab, Lucky and Lars try to extract the ghost from the orb. They find that it emits a pulse.
I just love the phrase extract the ghost from the orb. It just seems like it's something we should talk about more regularly.
Did that get left there accidentally?
No, they took it to them for them to study and figure out what's happening. They specifically left it there.
And it's under normal lab security procedures. There's nothing unusual about it besides it having extra gravity and being cold.
I don't know. Just the way she picked it up felt like they had forgotten about it. Just like, let's just do this thing. Like they didn't tag it. No, I don't know.
I think both are true. I think that like for the podcast and his little meter, I can't remember what it's called. He determines that objects are imbued with some sort of spirituality, and so then he brings them to Winston's lab to have them separated. But then I think you're also right. I think it was just in the list, if you will, or line of objects they had to go through. So I do think Lars and Lucky sort of
they were
forgot about it.
They were playing a little loosey goosey with like what they were grabbing because they obviously were like a little bored. It was just like, oh, get it out of this thing and then get it out of this thing.
Creepy doll, yeah.
And they haven't had any issues up till then.
I think they did forget about it, but Ray left it on purpose.
Well, and like the Ghostbusters, ghostbusting is just a 9-to-5 job until it's world-ending shit that you're dealing with.
Right.
Yeah,
you know, and they're just doing the foot, you know, they're just like the footwork. They're like, yeah, you know, we just show up. When we're done, we lock the door and all the ghosts hang out in their pens.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the box of things that Podcast and I determined had something going on with them. However often they record that podcast, but they made a point of showing in his store there was a whole line of people with objects.
Yeah.
Waiting to have them tested. So I'm sure he's always bringing shit to the lab.
On our way home,
it is interesting. Oh yeah, go ahead, please.
On our way home last night, Josh said, "So that was just a Pokeball."
I just say that.
It was a Pokemon. Yeah.
The
Ball.
the orb was just a Pokeball.
Yeah.
Where you
An old-fashioned one.
capture your pocket monsters.
Yeah.
Yeah, my pocket monster.
Well, no one can
Continue
capture
on
my
the
pocket
thing on
monster. Not without me getting in trouble.
I'll stick it in a ball.
So yeah, it shuts down the power, freezes Lars's hand, and the what was it called? The ghost that goes in things.
Possessor.
The possessor escapes from his cell. Later, Melody comes and visits Phoebe at the firehouse. They spend some time doing lesbian ghost stuff. And Melody tells Phoebe that she wants to move on to the next plane to be with her family. The whole like motivation of like I want to go be with my family in the afterlife is
in heaven.
Yeah,
So it's like they don't say it out loud. They don't call it heaven, but it's like obviously they're leaning towards that Judeo-Christian construct of heaven. But is she going to go there based on that construct? She killed a building full of people.
Melody asks Phoebe what she thinks happens, and Phoebe says she's seen it. They just their electrons dissipate. Their ghostly particles dissipate and join the universe.
Mm-hmm.
That's
a
what
very
is
scientific
literal.
explanation.
Yeah,
right. But Melody herself believes
that a crow will carry her.
that there's yet another, veil to be lifted. But she believes that and thinks she's going to go to heaven
to be with her family who are waiting for her.
Right.
I don't know.
So if you buy into that concept, you have to buy into damnation. And, I know it was an accident, but it's a lot of people. Tenement.
Yeah. That's a pretty big oopsie, Melody.
I wasn't sure about Melody's real motivations. Honestly, this is a weird thing, but like I felt like she didn't necessarily want to be with her family. That's just what she kept telling the girl, Phoebe. I felt like maybe she just wanted it to be over and she had been trying to end it for long enough that she had kind of lost it. That was my vibe on that.
I mean, maybe. I mean, she later on when she's like, at the very end of the movie, she's like, I'm sorry, but I just need to be with my family. Like she reiterated it in like the moment of truth.
That's true. You're right. Yeah. She does say it to her again like that.
It's just like Gozer promising Ivo Shandor different that she was promised by this. But what I want to know is why her? How was she communicating with this very ancient spirit that's trapped in the ball? And again, why did he choose her? Why did he have the foresight to be like, you have to sort of infiltrate?
It's weird.
Her.
I have a hard time understanding how he was communicating with her so far away from the ball. Because we saw after she walks away from the firehouse after this scene, it gets all frozen and he talks to her. But the ball is still back at the lab and he's still trapped in it at this point. Like I'm not understanding how he was able to do that when it didn't it seemed like only the ball that was near the other ghosts were being talked to.
Well, and it was brass, and then it was in that brass room that the dude's grandmother had, and they explained he only recently found it. She must have recently passed, but it was in there, and it was fine. Nothing was reacting to it like when it comes out. Even the marshmallow creatures reacted to it. But how is it communicating with her, and how was it communicating? And why her?
Yeah, how did he even find her? Did he go to play chess? Yeah. And then it was like... I found a ghost teen to groom.
He just needed to get close to the containment unit, it seemed, And that was a very convoluted way to do it when he had these.
He was like, okay, so here's the thing.
He didn't have his horns on.
He was like, I know the youngest kid is a lesbian. So if I find a ghost lesbian to groom who also plays chess, then I can get her to romance her and get me near.
So she's bi-curious.
Why did I hear this as like some like convoluted like Larry David kind of like manipulative thing in my head where he's like, oh, I can manipulate all of these people to get this one thing absolutely done right. This is how I'm going to do it.
I would say she's psi-curious.
Exactly. What's on the other side of those panties?
She wants to lift the veil under her skirt.
Oh God. Oh God.
All I could think of was that the orb was an imperfect trap.
Sure, okay.
I think we get that impression because
thousands of years old.
Okay, but that still doesn't explain this elaborate plan. And apparently,
you're right.
Yeah,
but
specters and ghosts around it react. So I think you're absolutely right. But it was in that brass room prior, so it was sort of like a dead room.
And the brass room had like no echo to it.
Yeah,
right.
It's like a quiet room.
So he couldn't talk to the other ghosts.
But I think you're absolutely right. That's why it moved around and other things reacted to it.
But yes, Garaka had...
The Marshmallow Men are basically Mogwai now. And they reacted like Mogwai do.
100%, yeah. Yeah. So anyways, podcast discovers that the video he recorded of the orb has audio that they couldn't hear in person. So Ray with Phoebe and Podcast go and visit Dr. Hubert Wartsky, a research librarian at the New York Public Library, to see what he thinks is going on.
And Ray sees his favorite full torso apparition.
Yeah, he sees the librarian from the very first scene of the very first movie.
The Rio library was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The library under the library.
That was one of my favorite moments.
Because there is. Now, I don't believe it's secret, but yeah, absolutely. Same with the Chicago Public Library.
Like the books we don't allow the public to touch.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're older than the wings, and parts of the building.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he's got the wax cylinders. This is Mary Todd Lincoln saying the F word.
Edison cylinders. It was really cool. I got to handle Edison cylinders at a museum I worked at.
Ooh.
Wow, handles. That's awesome.
Listen to some of them, not the originals. They had duplicates and stuff of original recordings because they degrade every time you use them.
Oh yeah, they crack.
Yeah. But it was really, really, really cool. I got to hear Hawaiian royalty singing songs on them.
That's cool. That's rad.
This is a PG-13 movie. And it felt like a real soft 13 on this thing. It was, frankly, I think they should have used their one fuck that they get. PG-13, you can say fuck
with
once.
The Mary Todd Lincoln.
Yeah, this is Mary Todd Lincoln saying fuck. Would have been twice as funny. And when Finn Wolfhard says, "What the actual hell?" That's not something people say. They don't say "What the actual hell."
No.
Anyways, so they Patton Oswalt reveals that the orb was built by a group of sorcerers called the Fire Masters to imprison the demigod Garaka, who sought to conquer the world with an army of ghosts, feeding on negative emotions to lower temperatures to absolute zero.
But they made it clear even then that he has to sort of work through a human being. He doesn't possess them, but he
has to serve a mortal.
Yeah.
Basically. And not serve, but that's kind of how,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, though. I couldn't figure. They explained that.
Yeah.
That's nice.
He shows them a wax cylinder recording of the chant that's needed to open the orb. Unbeknownst to them, the possessor has hitched a ride with them there, and he tries to steal the cylinder. They chase it outside where it possesses one of the library's stone lions.
I appreciate that it has to jump from object to object instead of just being a ghost that suddenly is, which it could be, and that wouldn't be weird. But I like that they tethered it in such a way.
Yeah,
They could only do short jumps too.
Yeah. Possessor was
like
one
a
of the
teleportation power kind of thing.
Yeah, Possessor was like the coolest new ghost, I think.
I agree.
And just such a simple concept. It's like
of ghosts.
What was that Denzel Washington movie where he was the devil and he would touch people and move through them in like a crowd?
Oh, what was that? I can't remember.
Coach Carter.
Coach Carter. It's like, you too have the power to play basketball briefly.
Remember the whatever's
Being Denzel Washington.
I don't know. All I remember is time is on my side.
Yeah.
That's how it ended. That's right. And it started with what's it called? Anyways.
Yeah,
I
forgot
song about being
movie.
the devil. I can't think of what it's called.
Scents and Peppermints.
not Sympathy for the Devil, or I don't know. They learned that Nadim's grandmother was a descendant of the fire masters who prevented Garaka from escaping the orb in 1904. The orb's confinement was by her was due to Garaka being vulnerable to the copper alloys combined with fire. They destroy the lion and also the wax cylinder in trying to stop Possessor. But the cops show up. They get taken to see the mayor, Mayor Peck. He shuts down the Ghostbusters, confiscates their equipment, and Phoebe ends up getting arrested.
What was it? Ecto C?
Oh yeah, they're
Ecto C.
their motorcycle
the
with the sidecar. Yeah, the Ecto C.
With the hidden trap and
I love the side
proton pack.
Yeah,
it's the most Ghostbusters thing since the hearse.
Yeah, absolutely. No, any vehicle they have is going to be a silly one. It's not going to be cool.
Right, and hobbled together probably.
Yeah.
I like that Winston and Dan Aykroyd is a good actor, but he's like they're kids, Ray. And Ray, there's just a second of facial expression that is so interesting, and he's like it dawns on him, because he's so in obsessed and engrossed in his hobby, and he loves these kids who are all about it. Then Winston's like, he killed them.
Yeah,
It was a touchy, or I don't know.
Yeah, no,
it hit the right beat.
Absolutely,
it really
did. And I enjoyed. Obviously, this movie has a lot of themes about duality, fire and ice, and old and young. And this is like Ray is too old to be a Ghostbuster. Phoebe's too young to be a Ghostbuster. They team up together.
Spangler's too dead to continue being a Ghostbuster.
Bill Murray's too Bill Murray to want to be a Ghostbuster.
But you're right. That is the angle that Peck takes, and that's it's like you've got kids doing this. He's past the EPA angle. He's past the popular opinion angle.
Well, yeah, and
basically the way he can come down on the Ghostbusters is like you can't have children doing this shit at the very least.
Yeah, at a bare minimum, unpaid children cannot perform this duty.
An unpaid child operating
reactors.
a nuclear laser beam.
Yeah.
No big deal.
I feel like it would have been very easy for New York to outlaw a proton pack if they really wanted to.
Yeah, Stop and Frisk passed with amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. To be like nuclear packs? No.
Yeah, a nuclear backpack with a laser gun on it. I think we can get outlawed.
You have to be at least 15.
Is that a particle accelerator under your parka?
Wait, is it a gun? If it's a gun,
sure.
anything goes. It's America.
It shoots
not
out
a projectile, but it
things.
shoots something.
I'm very unclear on what it's like.
I feel like it's a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's a gun, this is America. You can do whatever you want.
Well,
you can't get on a plane with it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So the family go back to the firehouse to pack their stuff and leave. Ray takes Nadim back there with him, and he begins to learn to control his fire bending.
I really like that Nadim gets dragged along on the hunch of like, you probably have a power to do something. It's important that you come with us because of Ray being such a nut.
Yeah.
Well, and Patton explaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the fire benders.
So Ray and Podcast, who are thick as thieves. They're obviously that's his short round now.
Yeah.
Both of them pay attention to that.
Yeah. Gary convinces Callie to stay there and fight for the Ghostbusters instead of just leaving. Then he gives a speech to an empty room. Yeah, all right. I'll save that for the end. Meanwhile, feeling upset, Phoebe runs away from home, meets up with Melody, and takes her to Winston's research center. She uses his extraction equipment to pull her own soul, her spirit, out of herself as a ghost for 2 minutes so that they can physically interact.
Yeah, that was odd.
A horny teenager's going to do what a horny teenager is going to do, dude.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hormones be hormoning.
Finn Wolfhard's installing the Mission Impossible harness while that's going on.
Yeah.
So no judge, no kink shaming. But I would, it's like skydiving. I know I'm never going to die in a skydiving accident. I would just be too nervous to separate my soul from my body.
Yeah.
No matter for how long. I
not-
don't trust any machines that
I'm not
much.
going to do that. Even if there's a timer.
Like, look, I can see you, I can talk to you, I can play chess, even if there's a timer.
Like I said, curious.
Very
But again, teenagers are nothing but a bundle of hormones and bad decisions.
I agree. That's why we all thought they were going to have a moment.
Yeah. No,
They didn't.
they were cowards on so many levels in this movie. We didn't get any lesbian ghost kisses. We didn't get Bill Murray cursing at Walter Peck.
But even their ghost versions got so close to each other that I don't know.
Close,
Like imagine you and your
close.
dude friend getting that close to each other. Like we're gonna kiss, right? There's nothing else.
There's no way to get this close without kissing.
Yeah. If they weren't ghosts, they'd be breathing each other's air.
Yes.
This was a Frodo Samwise moment.
Okay,
I mean, that's all those Frodo Samwise moments. They're just always face to face.
Yeah.
But then Melody reveals she's been secretly working with Garaka.
This is the worst.
Sounds like a death spell from like Latin America, like
Or like a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah, or a Mortal Kombat. She's been working
with Garaka.
Yeah. Does he have like a pension plan or?
Again, how was she recruited?
No, only a retirement plan.
Yeah.
She retires to the next plane.
Yeah.
She offers to free. She's going to help free him in exchange for him helping her pass to the afterlife. Forcing Phoebe to recite the ritual chant, Garaka escapes. Lucky shows up and tries to capture him, but he freezes her proton beams. Ow. Is this so? What are they shooting? Plasma? What are they shooting exactly in these beams? Science man, tell me.
The shit.
I mean, if they're proton accelerators,
yes,
presumably they would be shooting protons without electrons, I guess.
Okay.
Protons are matter, so if you freeze them to absolute zero, they would stop moving.
Okay. So the science checks out is what you're telling me.
Orb me this, though.
Lucky.
I assumed it was freezing the air because it was ionized or something instead of the actual laser itself.
I was assuming it was a cinematic device.
Yeah.
A narrative.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
But it looked kind of noodly.
No, it
also.
does. It does tie in because Phoebe takes. I don't know. They do explain it, and I love it. When
yep.
Yeah, I don't care if the
forges her
science
pack.
matters as long as it works for the
No
film.
science to begin.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
You were starting from the jump point of Al, the size between behind proton packs.
Well, it's a particle accelerator, right? With an output instead of just a circle.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, that's like what they do say accelerator.
So the particles are going
hadron.
Fast.
Yeah.
What I'm hearing.
Wicked fast is the.
Or are they slowing them down? Because they're not going fast. We can see how slow they're going. They're going like, blah,
are they going
out of the thing?
Or are they going so fast that they just create all of that?
We're talking proto.
All of that like Emperor Force lightning that comes out of them.
But
that's the beam cutting through the air, through the atmosphere.
Like I said, seeing them frozen, it made you feel like, well, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
And that was fun because it's like that's their
checkmate, Ghostbusters.
Yeah. I did like the way that everybody got not frozen. Eventually, they did get frozen, but like stopped by ice.
Yeah.
Like the ice spikes being the thing that was stopping them because they were frozen in fear until, of course, then they were actually frozen.
Literally frozen.
How do you thaw a person to life again?
After they're frozen?
Slowly, very slowly.
Yeah, we should do research on that technology because you could use that as Ghostbusters to go to space. You know what I'm saying?
You call up your best friend Pauly Shore, and he brings over some space heaters,
and then
put them underneath.
And then you take whatever you unfroze to high school with you. And
then Samwise gets really close to the Encino Man. Almost kissing.
Yeah, but not quite. So
they got great legs, though. Let's be real. Always legs. Oof.
Well, yeah. Lucky calls the family who show up. Phoebe tells him what happened. And while Garaka heads out to go to the vape shop and find Nadim's apartment to get his horns and his groove back.
I loved that. Are you the fire master?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he says yes right away.
Yeah, of course.
Because instead of, are you the key master?
Yeah, are you the fire master? Yeah. But yeah, he goes to Nadim's apartment. He gets his horns and his groove. The next day, a winter storm rolls in on a hot summer New York day, freezing the city.
Dun, dun, dun.
Realizing that he wants to free the ghosts from the containment unit, the Ghostbusters gather at the firehouse, aided by Nadim, who has begun to figure out how to control his powers. Winston and Lars show up with new proton packs. They all suit up. Janine, Ray, and Winston suit up. Phoebe brass plates her proton pack to help make it stronger against Garaka. Venkman shows up too, and somebody let Bill Murray have a pair of sunglasses.
I liked that she explained the things she was going to do real simply, and because it's just plating a thing, it's easy enough for her to do in like a short period of time.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, we're rewiring this whole thing. I'm going to add this thing I invented. She's like, I think I could dip this in metal.
And narratively, they single-handedly explained why they could still use the proton pack and that it was still like going to be the way they took down the ghost.
Yeah.
So like I said, he freezes them. Well, they're fucked. So it was beautiful. She explained it and then used it, and it made sense.
Yeah.
It's incredible science fiction. It made me so happy.
It is. No, I really have no problem with any of the science fiction or fantasy in this movie.
I noticed something about Bill Murray's character in this movie that I don't think I'd ever noticed before. Out of all four of the Ghostbusters, the original four, he is the one who is fearless.
Yeah.
He has no fear. When he hits the thing, grabs the bottle, little courage, anybody? It was interesting because that's the first time where we've seen him like, probably not the first time, but like he's always embodied like, no, we just got to walk in there and just be cool. Everything will be fine. We're all going to die. But I didn't realize that was his like role on the team also. He's the fearless guy who just always
even from the very first, he's the one who talks to the first ghost. He's always the one who's just...
He's the one that gets slimed. He's the one that has them freak out on him.
Yeah.
He gets mad at the ghost when he gets slimed. He's not like freaked out. He's just like, I never slime a guy with a positron glider.
I don't know why that didn't click in my head until that moment. But is like, as far as like writing a screenplay, that's a pretty good like way to develop a character on screen in like 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. Put sunglasses on inside with a little tiny bit the liquor to drink from. I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, no, there's fucking Bill Murray. Well,
and his bravado is what he brought to the table.
Yes.
Egon's the pure science guy, Ray's the paranormal guy. Obviously, Venkman uses his science and his acumen to get laid and things like that.
He's like a game show host.
More like a game show host.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He's not nearly as scientific as those guys.
Yeah, no. In the end, he's like all about Venkman.
Yeah.
So Possessor shows up and starts trouble. They try to fight it. It possesses a proton pack. It's about to shoot. What was it, Trevor? I think he was going to shoot. When Nadim bends the proton stream coming into his full power. So I guess that's fire?
Fire? It's igniting the air around it, which is what fire is. It's, the air is burning.
Sure.
If you think of the ancient elements, fire, water,
air, and earth.
Air.
Then
that's true.
Then
it would fall under fire.
Ancient science rules.
It would. He does not need to go into an avatar state in order to control multiple elements. So Phoebe finds Melody in the basement, tries to talk to her, but Phoebe's focused on crossing over and seeing her family again. Garaka arrives, and despite their best efforts, Garaka overpowers them. He breaches the containment unit, freeing thousands of ghosts. But then Nadim shows up. He's in his grandmother's armor, but his lighter is out of fluid, so he can't use his powers.
That was such a perfect setup and payoff.
Yeah.
For a funny thing to go wrong. That, again, just another perfect example of them doing something so adeptly. Mm-hmm. It's great.
And how many young people carry a Zippo? It's just like, I didn't think to...
to put in more lighter fluid.
And it's funny because we just established that he can control the protopack fire. Mm-hmm. And nobody's like, well, maybe we should have him control the protopack fire and try again. I thought that was an interesting choice, that they weren't like, well, now that you could do that. I thought that was cool in the match being the thing. Yeah. The setup was interesting for this Rube Goldberg device at the end.
Garaka freezes all of the Ghostbusters. Then Phoebe runs upstairs and fights Garaka. She's able to actually hurt him because her proton pack's brass plating. Garaka still gets the upper hand eventually, though. But then Melody decides to help out the human girl she's kind of into a little bit, I guess. Makes amends.
Her and Mike D drinking Brass Monkey.
That's right. Makes amends by lighting a match and helping Nadim use his powers to fight Garaka. Ray figures out that they can use the containment unit as a big trap. They run downstairs and set it off. And
so she was fated to do this. It was meant to be.
Was she?
That was what made her disappear into smoke, because she was like, I keep trying everything. I keep lighting this match and it never works.
It keeps showing up again in the matchbook, and this was the time that it didn't come back.
So this was her purpose, was to be tricked by Baraka or Garaka?
Or she just needed to feel like she had redeemed herself, if you want to not say that fate is a thing.
Okay, I get that. That's fair.
Right.
She had to have a non-selfish reason. Her being with her
Although
family
I don't know why I'm trying
selfish.
to make it scientific in the Ghostbusters.
But then again, like it's like Gozer. He made promises that he had no intention of keeping.
Yeah. No, if there's ever I'm speaking to our audience writ large here. If ever at any point a supernatural being promises you something in exchange for you doing something really bad, that supernatural being's lying to you.
Don't you believe him?
Yes, it's never worked out, and it never will work out.
The Shining.
Exactly. That
Robert
supernatural
Johnson's
being
pretty good at guitar. That's the devil, though. That's not the supernatural being.
Yeah, the actual devil.
That's like getting to talk to the president of the company.
Well, and we saw how well that worked out for Ralph Macchio.
That's fair. That's very fair.
He's a warning to us all.
Yeah. They trap Garaka and Melody. He loses his horns. Melody.
His horns of dilemma.
Melody reconciles with Phoebe before departing for the afterlife, presumably to reunite with her family.
Then she finds out arsonists go to hell.
As the city thaws, the Ghostbusters leave the firehouse. There's a crowd of cheering fans. They're hailed as heroes. Mayor Peck shows up in his crisis windbreaker and is forced to support the team and reinstate Phoebe due to the public support.
That's another reason why the character had to be the mayor, because he had to be swayed by public opinion. If he was just still an EPA agent, it wouldn't matter that the crowd loves the Ghostbusters. Mm-hmm. But he now can't be seen on camera hating something New Yorkers love, because they'll turn on you like a pack of wolves. That whole city.
Yeah. The Ghostbusters begin pursuing the escaped ghosts across New York City. We get the initial credit roll, and then in a mid-credit sequence, a trucker hauling Stay Puft marshmallows has his truck hijacked by a bunch of the mini Stay Puft men. Roll credits.
I'm sorry, wouldn't it have made a lot more sense if it was the possessor that possessed the truck?
Yeah, that would have been fun.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed.
Maximum
the possessor.
Overdrive.
Yeah,
well, because the possessor was like I said, the star of the show. They should have had. We can leave with Slimer and the possessor and the little Stay Puft Marshmallow guys, sure, but like.
But you know that they're going to crash into something just a few minutes later. You know that's just going to be a scene. But if it was the possessor, you could be left with the idea that this truck is roaming around.
Yeah, that would have been much cooler, actually.
I think so, because I even uttered Maximum Overdrive, and then it was revealed that it was Stay Puft, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then I was all, oh, and then I was like, ma. And Fonzie was all, hey.
Was the possessor eaten by Slimer when he was in the pizza?
Oh, that's right. Slimer ate
the
pizza with the possessor.
But it would not have bothered me in the least.
No, the possessor, it would have been very easy for the possessor to pop out of Slimer. I feel like if they'd wanted to make that happen, it's not.
Yeah.
We don't have to be beholden.
Or the possessor was in one of the slices that Slimer dropped.
Yeah.
He didn't eat the whole pizza.
We know that they're going to make more of these. I just would have liked the possessor to come along for more of the ride. I think it would have been really cool.
I understand biology, and I think I do.
I don't know if they're going to make more of these. I'm not sure this one's being a big enough hit. We'll see.
You think?
Do you understand ectobiology?
Yes, yes.
I think they're going to make one for every Ghostbuster that dies. That's just me. They got to dedicate these to somebody.
Do or not, it would have just been fun to leave your imagination with possessed truck.
It would have been.
It doesn't need to be paid off in any way.
Yeah.
But you knew that those little weirdos were going to crash the truck and it'd be over.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Be a much better mystery if that truck anyways.
Yeah.
I'll stop belaboring the point.
So that's it. Unanswered questions.
Kind of covered them as we went.
Yeah. We usually do. We usually do.
My question with this is just, I hope, and where do they take a new one? Do you bring Finn Wolfhard and have an adult Finn Wolfhard still? And does Lucky then move into the firehouse? Do they do this every day?
Right. If
I think they've I think they've cemented themselves so that if there was another one, it would just be another adventure more than like,
which could be cool.
It could be cool, but
well, and
it would be more than that than continuing a generational thing.
I mean,
I think it could be fun to bring back the old cast too, and sans Bill Murray, even if he doesn't want to come back, because now Ray and Winston have purposes. They have a role to serve in the universe.
They do. I feel I in theory am fine with like just ongoing Ghostbuster adventures that don't have to be like an epic like nostalgia trip or anything,
or handing a torch of any kind.
I just remain unclear why we're even bothering, since these have become just another sci-fi Marvel-y type thing. They don't have any particular interesting, unique voice like the first two Ghostbusters movies did. Even though the second one wasn't really as good as we remember, it still had that same unique Ghostbusters voice and feel to it that none of the ones since have.
Well, and I think that Afterlife had something to it that was special, and this doesn't have that same magical thing.
I think it kind of lives up to that title card that it has now, the Ghost Core.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no real reason. That's not a production company that makes other films.
Yeah.
So it kind of, that's why, seeing so many people in the flight suits was kind of cool. Could have been really a bummer.
If they can,
more of a core, like the
if
Marine
they can
Corps.
somehow get back to that more unique Ghostbuster feel on any future ones, I'd be more than happy to continue seeing Ghostbuster adventures.
I'm excited to see Ghostbusters Deep Space Nine.
Battlestar Galactica of the rings.
Wars.
Furious.
7. I don't know. I'm just doing a name or word not recognition. Word association now, yeah. So that brings us to our thumbs and what we're gonna do with them.
This has become an anxiety-ridden. Sure.
Well, and Josh,
as you know what, I liked it, but not better than anything else. I don't.
Yeah. Josh, much like in order to help feed your anxiety, you do get to go first. Okay.
I know, always. Damn it. Fuck it. I'm gonna go thumbs up.
Okay.
I don't want to talk about it though.
So I would point out this is the first thumbs up you've given a Ghostbusters movie since the first one.
I know. I was talking about that last night. We were standing. Yeah. Because the first episode was lost, it seems as though I do not like Ghostbusters in the least. Don't give me this a thumbs up. It's not better than the second or any of the, but it was fine. It was fine.
Okay. Brian.
It did a lot of things really well. It made me laugh a lot. I saw it last night. I got to give it a thumbs up because I saw it last night. Don't ask me in 3 weeks how I feel about this movie.
That's a good point. I'm with you on that. That's my excuse.
But yeah, I enjoyed the experience in the theater thoroughly. The effects were fucking cool. There were a lot of choices that they made that were fun. Some that made me feel like it dragged on. Honestly, I think it needed 10 more minutes. But thumbs up.
Thumbs up for Brian. Al.
It had some flaws, but I enjoyed the movie. It did some really cool things. I can't ruin my streak on this one. Thumbs up.
Yay.
Again.
Yay. 5 stars.
Yeah.
Go see movies, people.
Go see movies.
It's fun. Yeah.
Or at least wait till it's streaming.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's fun
these days.
I didn't
Watch
have
it.
as much fun as the lady at the end of our row, but I did have.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun. I enjoyed it. I'm still not happy with where Ghostbusters has gone since the 80s. I'm going down.
Hey.
I'm going down hard.
For some ghost cunnilingus.
I will say this about the Ghostbusters.
Yeah,
Currently,
much like
I think
we're close.
Clitoris is a myth.
We're closest to space we've ever been.
Absolutely.
You know, we have a multimillionaire in charge of the Ghostbusters. We could go to space. It could happen.
Absolutely. Dan Aykroyd is so happy with how Ghostbusters.
Or he repaired that mnemonic train tube to Scotland.
No, so I feel like this is like how like with the prequels, there was no one to rein in George Lucas. There's no one to rein in Dan Aykroyd at this point. It's just like we're going to space.
Yes,
Right.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready.
Ivan Reitman and Harold Ramis are both gone. They're the two that kept him grounded and kept him like, what if we just do it in New York, Dan? And now it's
Why
just
wouldn't
time
there
for
be
space.
ghosts of other life forms?
Why wouldn't there be ghosts in space?
Why wouldn't there?
Martian ghosts?
Yeah,
other
and
life
Ghosts of
forms.
Mars meets the Ghostbusters.
Meets.
I'm saying
I really, somebody's got to get that to Dan Aykroyd. I think it's a great idea. Crossover with all the horror movies.
Oh my God.
The old Abbott and Costello.
They can sell them at gas stations.
Yeah. What was Event Horizon Ghostbusters?
Yes.
Oh, they could meet the ancient Babylonian 5 god.
Oh. From Babylon 5.
Yeah. Or Battlestar Ectoplasmica.
Yeah. Or
Ectoplasmica. See you this year at tickets on sale now. Ectoplasmica 2024.
So, all right, that is it for Harmless Phosphorescence this time. Next time on Harmless Phosphorescence, we are going to be revisiting the first Ghostbusters, and I guess the series as a whole, as a way of bringing it all back home, because we did lose our
We planned this the whole time.
That's right. So next week, we'll have our first Ghostbusters episode next time on Harmless Phosphorescence. Until then, thank you all for hanging out with us. This has been one of your hosts, Rose Smiley. I'm off to play chess with my pyromaniac ghost lesbian friend.
I'm Josh Cece, reminding you to get a giant mallet. Smash that like button.
The hammer gets the likes.
I'm Brian Lesh, and when I'm a ghost, I want to be a trash bag full of Edison cylinders.
All right, let's put this episode on ice. I'm Alaric Weber.
Chill. We'll see you next time.
Very cool.
We'll see you next time, everyone. Bye.